The original Moose. We got a Moose sighting, ladies and gentlemen. Cue the music.
It's 10 o'clock.
Already know.
It's 10 o'clock.
Ah, what a day.
I
We've
was
been
just
talking.
about to say, Moose is somewhere in the bush,
We've been
clapping the
talking.
cheeks.
We've been
What a
talking for.
day.
We've been talking
Oh,
for 2
man.
hours. We've been talking for 2
What a
hours.
day. What a day. Oh, shit.
Yes.
We've been
What a
talking for
day.
2 hours. What?
2 hours, not enough. 1 hour and 45. Calm down there. Almost.
It rounds to 2 hours.
Man.
A, B, his network probably wasn't working for the first 2 hours. That's why he just connected right now.
I had a lot of work to do today. But anyways, man, what a quarter. What a quarter. The convergence strategy is working.
Oh boy.
The convergence strategy is working. The free line promotions are working for T-Mobile. Free lines. I'm gonna give you a free line. I'm gonna give you a free line. But you know what was missing today, ladies and gentlemen? It seems to me that we are going to be very interestingly talking about Dish very shortly
Oh, damn.
when their earnings. Yep, I know.
Oh,
exactly.
no.
God damn. Dish's earnings.
Let's get
What
ready
earnings?
to
Spectrum,
I don't think they're
rumble.
Spectrum and Xfinity earnings very shortly.
Yep.
Right? That's next up. Now, what's interesting about this quarter is notice that the carriers and Apple and they were all hyping this super cycle, right? And look at what Verizon posted yesterday, nearly 10.2% upgrade decline year over year. That's a big red flag. Also, AT&T, which has the most iPhones out of any carrier in the United States, they also declined on device upgrades by a significant percentage. T-Mobile is probably the same as well.
I said that
So,
yesterday.
right. So that's interesting, right? That Apple is in a very serious situation right now, guys. That they have cut today. I read the articles from Minchi Kuo and all these other people. They have cut iPhone 16 production by 10 million units globally. So what does that mean? Means that US that buys the most iPhones, is just not able to sustain their growth that they are looking for this year. Now, the Pro and Pro Max are selling the most. And I think that's because, once again, the carrier deals, right?
Is it also the affluent nature of that buyer?
I don't know. I mean, to me, the thing always makes sense like this, right? So if I have a device that qualifies for $1,000 off, why would I ever get the cheaper version if I can get the 1,000? You get what I'm saying?
True. Yeah.
Right. So that I don't know. That's a whole nother situation that we're gonna have to talk about in a much larger setting. Start that off like, why is this year so difficult for the upgrade cycle, right? And I think we've been
Yeah, but
talking
last
about it
year
for
wasn't good either, Moose.
right, but it wasn't as bad as this year, right? Where it's like 10% decline Verizon, right, in
Yeah.
terms of
What was it?
upgrades.
And AT&T and T-Mobile saw similar declines.
Who was
Yeah, and I
crying
can
about
tell
that?
you that one of the reasons is because as soon as the pre-order started, Moose,
Mhm.
the Pros and the Pro Maxes immediately went on back order, and they're not going to ship out until November 1st.
Right. So we may have a supply issue, right? We may also have a economic issue where people just can't afford these devices at the present time. That's
But
something that yeah, go ahead.
what carrier of the three, and this is an industry thing, this is not me talking about any one particular carrier. What carrier is unhappy at the fact that they're not selling as many iPhones on upgrade right now? Like, we just got finished spending well, everybody except for Moose. Moose wasn't able to join until now. But I'm saying we spent 2 hours talking about AT&T and then also T-Mobile and the tremendous growth that they've had, to their credit. So what carrier came on their call today and said, "Yo, I am so disappointed that we didn't get the same amount of upgrades as we did 2 years ago"? Like, there's not really a carrier who's upset about that, guys. The person, to Moose's point, and I agree with Moose, it's Apple who should be upset or who should be worried,
Right.
not the carriers. And I think that's what Moose was trying to say. And if that's the case, then let me know. If not, if I'm
Yeah.
wrong, then you can tell
No,
me I'm
no.
wrong on that
You're
too.
on the same page. So
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, right? Is that Apple is worried, right? Because their mission and vision has always been, how do I sell more phones? How, and then secondarily after that, how do I get people on my services? Apple One and all this other stuff, right? Um, Apple's mission has always been figure out the carrier subsidy. I just want people to buy my phone, right? Or the watch, or the iPad, or whatever device they're trying to pitch. But from a carrier perspective, if they sell less phones and there's no promotion assigned to it, right? There's no promotion assigned to it. They're actually making money off of that customer because they don't have to spend money on the promotion.
there you go, Moose. There you go. At the end of the day, nobody's crying about that. And I think Verizon has been the one that's been the most um loud or the loudest about that.
Mm.
Um, Skiata said it, Han said it. At the end of the day, you have those upgrades. It's empty calories. It's not anything that's really getting to the bottom line. The fact that you're not selling as many upgrades means your wireless equipment revenue is down, but your wireless service revenue, which is the actual meat, is the calories that you actually can consume and your body can use to use, your scientific term, and whatnot. I mean, that's up. It's up for Verizon. It's up at AT&T. It's even up at T-Mobile. EBITDA is up at Verizon. EBITDA is up at T-Mobile. EBITDA is up at AT&T. Free cash flow is definitely up at T-Mobile because they just started making money. It's slightly down at AT&T, and I think slightly down at Verizon, I think as well. Excuse me. So you still have all these companies who are making more money than they did year over year, and I think a lot of that is because they don't have to spend on subsidizing a bunch of upgrades. So nobody's crying about that in the industry. Like really, nobody's crying about that. It's Apple that's upset, as they should be. Maybe it's time for them to get in there and try to innovate a little bit more. I don't know. But right now,
Right.
the phones are expensive and people aren't purchasing them right now, except for if they're going to be switching service or getting a new line of service where the company, the carrier is providing, significant subsidy. So
Right.
I guess it's where we are, man. It's where we are.
Now, I just downloaded today 18.2, right? The latest beta. And I will tell you this. I mean, there are some features that people are going to want to try, and then thus they're going to have to buy the phone. Like for example, the visual intelligence, that's what it's called, right? Where you hold the camera button on the right hand side, and then you're able to take a picture of something or of a place or of a thing, and then it will scan that item or said place and then tell you, oh, this restaurant, everything about that restaurant, right? um, that's a critical feature for a lot of folks, that they're not that intuitive that they can research that on their own, like especially the baby boomers that are getting into that late stage of their lives. Even ChatGPT, a lot of boomers right now, they don't even know about it. But now that they are slowly going to start learning about it because of Apple Intelligence, because of the dedicated app, the ChatGPT app, there's going to be a lot more prompts and queries done on that service. Do I recommend it, right? Or would I recommend it? Think about it like this. Do I recommend you buying a phone that 2 months later, the actual features that are actually supposed to be on the device are coming? Absolutely not. Same thing that MKBHD said, right? MKBHD literally said he would never recommend a product with the hope that there's going to be improvements in the future, right? Or that there's going to be an improvement in the future. It needs to be, as of right now, is the product an A, B, or C grade, right? So obviously the phone, exactly the same as a 15 with an extra button. Now that there's these features that are taking advantage of that button, that are taking advantage of other things, now it actually starts making sense why you should upgrade.